A WayServe worker has died in a tragic workplace accident. A pro-choice activist has been assaulted whilst campaigning in Malta. And one fitness group has questioned how €130,000 were spent on an outdoor gym. All this and more on Lovin Daily. Good evening, Malta and Gozo. It's me, Gianluca from Lovin Malta, and my co-host Matt Baldacchino, and we're bringing you our 5 top stories for the day. For our first story, Joseph Alul, a 38-year-old beloved Marsa resident, has lost his life in a tragic workplace accident. He lost his life in an incident at an animal incinerator at the WayServe plant in Marsa earlier on this morning. Not many details have been revealed by the police at this point in time, though we have come to understand that he seemed to have been handling some meat cutting machinery at the time. Ambulance staff and the medical team had rushed on site, but unfortunately the man died on site. In the meantime, friends and loved ones have taken to social media to share their grief at the shocking incident, many of whom will dearly miss Joseph Alul, who was one of their own.
This is, of course, a developing story, and we'll have more updates as we get them on lovinmalta.com. Condolences to this man's family in the meantime. Moving on to our second story today, doctor and pro-choice activist Professor Isabel Stabile was physically assaulted while conducting a campaign to raise awareness over Malta's abortion laws, which, it's important to note, are some of the strictest in the world. Shortly after she was interviewed, Prof. Stabile was physically assaulted by a female individual, Doctors for Choice Malta said in a statement on social media. A police report has been filed and we have asked for the perpetrator to be prosecuted. Thankfully, Prof. Stabile did not sustain any injuries. We take such incidents extremely seriously to protect our activists. Prof. Stabile and other activists were stationed alongside Tre Aldemoro, holding placards up to passing motorists. The group went on to say, quote, "From now on, we shall be providing our activists with body cams to make sure they can better record such incidents in the future. We have a zero tolerance policy towards violent behavior and will report all such incidents to the police and request criminal prosecution." Now, whatever your stance on abortion, violence is never the way forward. And, quite frankly, the fact that people are assaulting those with actual lived experiences, I think, is quite ironic. But anyway.
In fact, Malta has a very strong stance on abortion itself. Malta remains the only country in the EU with a full ban on abortion. However, each year, an estimated 400 Maltese women have an abortion, despite the fact that it's illegal. And moving on to our third story, Malta's leading fitness community, Bulletproof, and perhaps a host of others, have questioned how €130,000 were spent on an outdoor gym by the government in Malta. Bulletproof, in fact, recently invested in an outdoor gym themselves, but only forked out a total of €15,000. However, €130,000 ended up being spent on 8 pieces of equipment for this new outdoor gym. One of the co-founders of Bulletproof, Adam Sullivan, reached out to the Mosta Local Council, but unfortunately this left them with more questions than answers.
Yeah. It's important to note Project Robin Hood is part of an ongoing project by local fitness community Bulletproof Culture. The aim of the project is to address concerns by the fitness community in Malta and Gozo. The first iteration of this is to create an outdoor gym environment using actual usable equipment. Their first such example was that in St. Paul's Bay, done in collaboration with the local council, and the fitness community is now looking to do similar things with other local councils moving forward into the future. You can check out more of this on lovinmalta.com, as we are teaming up with them as media partners. Moving on to our fourth story. Earlier this afternoon, Volodymyr Zelensky addressed Malta's parliament, continuing a string of similar addresses the Ukraine president has made to various parliaments around the world. The address he made came following an invitation by Foreign Affairs Minister Ian Borch during discussions he had with Dmytro Kuleba, who is his Ukrainian counterpart. During the address, President Zelensky urged the country to halt golden passport programs and dual citizenship for Russian people in Malta. Please do not allow your island to be abused, he said. Please do your checks and see which Russians are using Malta to hide. He also added the EU should move to embargo all Russian oil and derived products, adding, quote, Maltese flagged vessels are used to transport Russian oil. And he also touched upon Malta's own history with war, likening the, quote, resilience of the Maltese people which defined the future of the Mediterranean to Ukraine's own fight against Russian aggression. Malta's own leaders addressed the Ukrainian president during this speech. PM Robert Abela said Malta was not, quote, silent, blind and deaf to Ukrainian suffering. He added, we will speak where and when it matters, within international fora and the European Union. Abela also said that Malta would advocate for peace and an immediate ceasefire and pledge non-lethal equipment and medical supplies. PN leader Bernard Grech also echoed similar sentiments and added the PN backed the Ukraine's bid to join the EU.
In fact, Zelensky's address to Parliament was very heartfelt. He addressed some of the worst scenes that he had personally seen himself in Mariupol, how he saw many people die and they continue to die even as we speak. In fact, on that note, he hit out at Speaker Angelo Farrugia's opener after he addressed the military action as a conflict, stating that this is not a conflict, this is a war. And moving on to our final story, which is a success story, a very nice story actually. Former PN candidate Alan Abela Wedge shared his fascinating weight loss story after he weighed under 100 kilos for the first time. Abela Wedge lost 100 kilos in his weight loss journey, which he embarked on in 2020 after having undergone gastric bypass surgery together with his wife. And he took to social media to write, finally in the double digits for the first time in my adult life. I'm weighing under 100 kilos. This morning I weighed 99.6. I clearly remember going for a routine checkup to my doctor, and he looked very worryingly at me. He told me bluntly that if I continue on this path, I wouldn't live past my 40th birthday, he recounted. It was a well-needed shock to his system, it seemed, because from that very day he dropped his cigarettes, he changed his diet, he underwent his surgery, and the success speaks for itself. And presently, at the moment, considering Malta's shocking obesity statistics, one could say that it's a bit of a hot topic right now.
Yes, you can certainly say it's a hot topic right now. There's been a lot of buzz around it lately. And on the note of it being a hot topic, Lovin Malta is currently working with self-described weight loss expert Steve Miller. We'll be having an upcoming project around the various nuances surrounding weight loss coming out very, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for more on that. That brings us to the end of today's episode of Lovin Daily. Keep your eyes peeled for the various projects we have ongoing right now. And don't forget, this Saturday we'll be having live coverage for the grand final of the Eurovision. Today is the first semi-final of the Eurovision, so be sure to follow us for all updates. Have a great evening. This has been Matt and Gianluca, and have an evening full of lovin'.